Good day all you wonderful people, welcome to Adventure Together. My name's Al and today I am going to give you 10 ways that you can stay motivated when you are doing a long distance hike. Attempting a long distance hike or even a thru hike can be one of the most intense and grueling challenges you will ever face. And staying motivated through all of those physical and mental challenges is something that we all have to face at some point or another. So I'm going to give you those 10 tips on how you can stay motivated on trail. So my first tip for you is just look for the little wins. The little wins might be just achieving a certain mileage. For me, when I was doing the Appalachian Trail, hitting the 100-mile markers, the 100, the 200, 300, etc., all the way through to the 2,100-mile marker were big ticks off the list. Every time you hit those markers, there would be a massive surge of happiness. Yes, another 100 miles down, another 100 miles closer to achieving my goal. But as well as those 100-mile markers, also crossing state lines. Certainly on the Appalachian Trail, you're crossing through into 14 states. So every time you cross one of those state borders, that can be another little win on your list. Adding those state line crossings to the 100-mile markers gives you fairly regular targets where you can feel that you're regularly achieving something. It's hard when you're slogging your guts out, hiking every day for 6 months straight, to keep those little wins in mind. You're always focused on the end goal, but if you don't look at the little things that you're achieving, it can all just seem like 6 months of endless hiking. If you look at those goals, those little wins can really mean something and really keep you motivated on trail. Tip number 2 is to forget the end goal. A lot of us become hyper focused on hitting that end goal, whether it's on the AT and hitting Katahdin or Springer Mountain, depending which way you go, or whether it's hitting the border when you're on the PCT. It's all focused on hitting that end point, and we don't spend enough time enjoying the day that we're in. We're so focused on what that end goal is that we lose sight of what it is that we're doing day to day, what the thru hike is about. So try and forget the end goal. Try and forget about reaching that target. That will come. Every day you will get closer and closer to that target. You will get 20 miles, 30 miles closer to that target. Focus on what you're doing in that day. Enjoy the time and the people that are around you. Enjoy looking at wildlife. Enjoy the fact that you're not working and sitting at a desk doing data input or serving in a bar, getting rude customers. Enjoy the new life that you're living and forget about the end goal. Tip number 3 is more of a mental health thing. It's to talk to people. Keep talking to people. If you are traveling with a tramley, then talk to them, be open with them. It's usually a non-judgmental place, the trail. Everyone's on there for their own reasons. People can be wonderfully understanding, and whereas you might not be able to talk to your friends and family back home about internal problems or things that are going on with your head and a lack of motivation, you might be able to talk up to the people around you, the tramley members who are traveling with you every single day. These people are there for you. As well as your tramley, talk to the people you meet on trail, talk to people at shelters and campsites, talk to people you bump into who are going sobo or section hikers, or people that have got questions for you who might be out on a day hike or out for a couple of days. People are often looking at thru hikers and wanting to gather information from them. And that can be incredibly rewarding when people are coming the other way on trail and they've never done a thru hike before and they've got questions about how do you refuel, how do you do this, how do you do that, and you can impart that knowledge over. Sometimes a conversation with a stranger is just enough in motivation to keep it going through the day. As well as that, I don't need to tell you, but keep in touch with the people back home, keep in touch with your friends, give them regular updates, keep in touch with your family and let them know where you are. Having an ongoing dialogue with a number of different people can always keep you motivated instead of internalizing all of your problems and dealing with it on your own. You can offload all of your problems and your struggles with motivation with the people around you. Don't feel guilty if you've got something negative to say. It's okay to feel down. So make sure you're talking to a wide array of people around you. Keep that conversation going and that can keep you motivated. Number 4 that helps a lot of people is journaling. A lot of people like to keep trail diaries and journals of their thoughts or diaries of what happened during the day that day, and I think that's a great thing to look back on. Personally, I use the vlog as my journal. I had that going every couple of days and I'm now able to look back on a huge amount of videos of what happened on trail. But if vlogging is not for you, or even if it is, sometimes just writing down your thoughts and getting them off your chest, getting them out of your mind and onto paper can be something so cathartic to dispel all those problems and to rationalize them that you might wake up in the morning, read what you've written and go, I don't recognize those emotions anymore. You slept better that night because you offloaded all of those emotions that have been in your head all day while you've been hiking and you've got them onto paper. And it's a way for you to be completely honest about the way you feel without judgment because you're able to put it down in your journal. And as I said, when you get to the end of your hike and you've got that journal to look back on, you can read your thoughts and read what was going on each day. And you can look back through all of those details that you had forgotten before. It's a priceless bank of memories. So if you're inclined to journal, I'd highly recommend keeping a trail journal. Tip number 5 is to be fluid in your plans. A lot of people were so rigid in their plans. I have to be here on this date and here on this date and here on this date, and then I'm going to see this and do that, It gets so overwhelming. And when obstacles come along like bad weather, sickness or injury, that you have to take some time away from the trail, and that puts you behind, it can put you under an immense amount of pressure if you've already planned out what you're going to be doing days, weeks, months in advance. It's okay to have an itinerary and know where you want to be, but don't be so rigid in your plans that you stress yourself out. Being fluid and being able to change things up and adapt, that's a great way to stay motivated. And saying, no, I've got a plan and I'm going to stick to it, can really knock your motivation if you don't hit those goals every single time. Number 6 is to enjoy your downtime. You could be hiking all day trying to reach your goal, but what is life on trail if you don't enjoy your downtime? Enjoy the conversations and recreation time you can have in camp and with your family or with people that you meet at those camps. Have conversations with them, enjoy campfire, enjoy cooking together. It will help you immensely if you've got something to look forward to at the end of each day, spending time with your family or maybe contacting someone back home. And not just at camp, but also when you reach towns and you're going to have a zero or you're just going to spend overnight. Don't just do your chores of showering and doing laundry and resupplying and then go to bed. Enjoy your time. Personally, I don't drink at all, but it was still nice to go out to a bar or to a restaurant with my family and just enjoy something that wasn't just trail food all of the time. Go out, enjoy those towns, go and sightsee, go and see what's going on in those towns, go and spend some time at the local attractions. Tip number 7 is to go on excursions. There's so many things you can do to keep motivated if you just take these little breaks off trail to go and see things. In the Shenandoah National Park, something that was on option that a lot of people did that they really rated was aquablazing. They took a kayak down the river for 3 days and they saw some beautiful, beautiful sights. Doing excursions like that and taking some time off trail can do wonders for your motivation. Tip number 8 is to always remember that everything can be fixed. If something goes wrong on your tent, then you can fix it. If something goes wrong with your gear, you can fix it. If you're soaked to the bone because it's been raining for 3 days, yes, it's miserable and you're cold and everything's wet, it's horrible, but you can always fix it. You can always go into a town. There might be an outfitters there that you can buy new gear if what yours is broken, or buy a replacement part. There might be a replacement part for whatever's broken inside a hiker box. With the Appalachian Trail especially, you're never far away from a town. You're only about 3 or 4 days in either direction at most away from a town. You can always backtrack if you really, really need to get into town. If you're injured and you need to go home, you can bail off of trail, take the time away, come back onto trail and pick up where you left off. Don't think of a long distance trail or a through hike as a 6 months of continuous walking. Think of it as many 4 to 6 day long hikes that are interspersed with town visits. And when you're in town, you can resupply, get the food you want, get the supplies you want, and you can also dry and fix any problems you have. There's no limit to the amount of time you can spend off of trail. If you want to spend 1 day, 2 day, 3 days off of trail so that you can get stuff fixed or wait for something to ship, you can do that. As long as you have the budget to pay for the accommodation you're in, there's no worries if you want to spend more time off of trail. Tip number 9 is to have something to look forward to. Much the same way I was saying earlier that you should enjoy the moment and enjoying those little wins and things like that, having those things to look forward to, or having other things to look forward to, like hitting certain towns, hitting certain monuments, something that means something to you, and also maybe having family come and meet you on trail or friends come and meet you on trail. Having those things to look forward to can be constant blasts of motivation that keep you going. There's nothing like the buzz that you get for a few days after something big has happened to you on trail. It really keeps you motivated. And the final tip, tip number 10 for you, is Rosebud Thorn. So if you've not heard of Rosebud Thorn and you don't know how to play this game, then it's just simply reflecting on your day and your mood at that time. So a rose is something good that happened that day. A thorn is something bad that happened that day. And the bud is something that you're looking forward to. Now this is something that Holy Roller, Red Panda and myself used to do every single day when we got to camp. We'd be cooking or we'd be setting up our shelters and we would say to each other, okay, what's our Rosebud Thorn? And we take it in turns to say what our good point of the day was, what our bad point of the day was, and something we're looking forward to. And sometimes it wasn't just one thing. Sometimes there was a lot of things that went wrong, and sometimes there was a lot of things that went right. And having that moment of reflection can really motivate you, because you can then say, okay, actually, when I reflect upon my day, it wasn't all bad. I got to see this amazing viewpoint, or we hit this mountain and now it's behind us. The bad point might have been that we struggled up this hill, or I had a problem with my trekking pole that I've now got to fix. The bud is that I'm looking forward to getting into town and having a shower, or I'm looking forward to seeing a family member when they visit next week. If you don't have a tramley that you can play it with, or you don't want to play it with a tramley, just sit in your shelter at night and before you go to sleep, say, what was my rose, what was my bud, and what was my thorn? And vent that audibly. If you're keeping a journal, like I said, then before you go to sleep at night, write it down in your journal, and then you can vent those built up emotions that have been stewing in your mind. All in all, staying motivated on trail is a massive part of the hike. Keeping on top of your mental health is paramount importance. Yeah, you can be walking every day and making sure that you don't get injured, but making sure that you're in the right mindset to keep going on this hike and not get stressed and not get depressed and not feel weary and overwhelmed is so important. Don't neglect the mental health side of doing a thru hike. It's really, really important. Talk to the people around you. Use these tips to keep motivated. And if you have any other advice for anybody else that you can think of that would keep people motivated on trail, I implore you, please write them down in the comments so that other people who are watching this video might get other tips that they can use that might be relevant to them to stay motivated when they're doing a thru hike. If you like this video, then please leave a like. If you enjoy my content and you enjoy the channel, then please consider subscribing. And if you think this video might be helpful for somebody else, then please share it with anybody who's planning a thru hike, or anybody that you know that enjoys camping, hiking, or adventure travel. And for now, that's it from me. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Cold. Bloody outdoor channel. Gotta film everything outdoors. Can't sit inside.